The Pirates are back in the win column, powered by the offense and home runs from Oneil Cruz, Ryan O'Hearn, Bryan Reynolds. I want to talk about the starting pitcher because Bubba Chandler, I think, kind of showed the absolute best and maybe some of the worst that he has to offer as a big league pitcher. Good morning, and this is Offbeat, a daily look at your Pittsburgh Pirates here on North Shore 9, presented by FanDuel. My name is Alex Stumpf. Bubba Chandler, it was a Jekyll and Hyde performance. And at the end of the day, he did enough. The offense produced. He needed a little help to get out of that fifth inning. Yohan Ramirez came in, delivered. Is what it is. He faced some hardships in the third. He kind of muscled his way through it. Reset real nicely for the fourth, I thought. And then in the fifth, just really kept missing, especially up, most of the night. That's a tough outing, but at the end of the day, four and a third inning, 0 runs. He didn't give up any hits. That's why he was able to get away with the 6 walks, 6 strikeouts. We've seen better from him. We've seen better from him. We saw better from him last September. It's one start. It's the first one of the year. It's the first time he's had a start in March in the big leagues. There's some adrenaline running. It is what it is. Okay, but I really want to just focus on a couple things about how he went about that outing. Some of it good, some of it bad. And I really want to look at the third inning in particular because he's missing and he's missing up with the fastball. That fastball has such ridiculous spin and ride. It creates that illusion of spin, but whenever he flies open, and the way I eyeballed it, I thought he was flying open a couple times, it could just rise too much. And that's what happened. Consistent misses up, gets the mound visit. There's the ball in left center field where Bryan Reynolds doesn't peel off from Oneil Cruz, and that ends up becoming a run scoring error. Outing could have gone real bad, but there's just a couple things why it didn't. One was he walks a couple batters. He's in a tough spot. Joey Bart calls for a curveball to lead off, and at bat, and he drops it perfectly right on the corner for a called strike. That really struck me as a challenge pitch. A pitch that, hey, you don't have your fastball right now. We're not going to reset it right now. I just want you to execute something. I'm going to give you something hard right there. Bubba, from what I have, learned over the years and just the way he strikes me, I think he does need that challenge every once in a while of really try to execute something different, something hard. And I like that approach. I think it helped, give a little reset in that third inning. He got a lot of help from Terry Francona. I don't know why they decided to bunt with two on after a run in, but what? Pop up, gets the play at second. It shows the athleticism that he has. Like, yeah, he was fortunate that it was, a pop up that he got one free out, but being able to turn two kind of shows why this guy was a shortstop and why he was going to be a two-way player whenever he was drafted. He just has that ridiculous athleticism. And throwing that curveball earlier in that inning, I think that is a case of just relying on that ridiculous athleticism, that he can do things that are very special. So whenever he is in a bad spot, let's do them. I believe he only threw two chain or curveballs on the night though. And he only threw a couple sliders and he only threw a couple changeups. He really, really leaned on the four seamer, which is a bit of a double-edged sword because he has that great pitch and it creates movement that you don't normally see. But whenever it's not working out, I would have liked to see some maturation. I would have liked to have seen him challenge with more off speed and secondary stuff as the night went on. Whenever it was clear that, hey, the fastball, third, fourth, fifth inning, it's flying. It looked incredible the first couple innings, but as the day went on, that second time through the order, he's overthrowing it. And how do you overcome overthrowing it? I think going with the off speed and the braking stuff would have been a way to do that. I wrote for Booker Bucks, my Substack, how last year Henry Davis told me that he thought Bubba's changeup was his best pitch. And I told Bubba he didn't exactly agree, but he took the compliment. It had been a pitch that I really worked on over the years, so he'll take that as a point of pride. I don't necessarily agree with Henry's assessment either because that fastball is so great, but I think it's the pitch that's grown the most, and I like the mentality that he can go to it, that he can throw it with two strikes. Like that is a kill pitch for him on 1-2-2-2, especially against left-handers. He's gonna try to get strikeouts with that pitch. I like that he can throw it to right-handers. I like that he just has that confidence and that it spins in a similar direction to the four-seamer. So if that pitch is riding up, the changeup's going to look like a four-seamer out of the hand, but it's not going to have that same ride. Whenever you're really missing high in a day, I think having that type of pitch, like a changeup, would have been a good reset. He's like, hey, he's missing high. Here comes a pitch that's spinning the same way. That's going to rise. No, it's going to stay in the strike zone. He missed low with some changeups also. I think he just mechanically was not quite in the best spot. I'm just going to write that off as whatever. It's one start, and again, one where he did not allow a hit, and by extension, not an earned run. And the Pirates won. So it is what it is. I wanted to see the reset, though. I wanted to see some maturation. I wanted to see him challenged because he has that great fastball, and I think he has this fight or flight instinct at times. And whenever he does, and he's like, well, I'll just use the four seamer and I'll punch my way out of this wall. And that worked in the minor leagues. You can't always do that in the major leagues because either A, hitters are going to keep watching those pitches up, or B, if it comes back into the zone, they know what they're going to attack with. So the results were fine, the 6 walks notwithstanding. I'm just going to view it as 6 base runners. That's not fair, but that's what it was at the end of the day. And maybe it's a different outing if that ball in left center is just caught, kind of like what we saw with Paul Skeens on opening day. That it's like, okay, that's the reset. Take a breath. You got one out. He had a lead to work with. He wasn't, and whenever that drops in, it's like, okay, the lead's getting chipped away at a little bit here. So that would have been ideal. I would like to see him use the whole arsenal. I thought one of Chandler's best sequences of the night was in the 4th inning against Will Benson, where he starts off by pounding fastballs. It's hitting that top of the zone. He's getting it in the zone. He's getting strikes. He gets ahead in the count. Then he throws a waste changeup. Maybe not his best executed pitch, a little too much waste on it, not changing, but he goes back to the changeup. He's not discouraged by it. He gets the swinging strike. He gets the strikeout. That is the type of a bat that I think kind of shows why Bubba can be great. Maybe even more so than if he was just punching someone out on 3 or 4 pitches, throwing 100 every time. Whenever you're able to pull that string, whenever you're able to play off of the elite tools that you have, I think that's still an area of growth for him. I think he can still grow there. I think there are a ton of pitchers who at this stage of their career would still grow there. He is a rookie after all. I know he got that taste of the majors last year, but he is a rookie still. So what are the lessons to be learned from here? Obviously, a lot's got to be mechanical. Saw Bill Murphy go out there, couldn't really reset him in the 3rd inning. They did reset in the 4th, 5th, kind of go sideways. And he has to rely on Yohan Ramirez, who, quick side tangent, maybe Yohan Ramirez is a wild card in this bullpen. I keep saying that they need someone to emerge. If you just watch Yohan Ramirez in the backfields of Pirate City, you would think that he was an elite pitcher. Like, he has some really great pure stuff. I don't know if he knows exactly where it's going, but he could be a wild card, maybe, if he could just put it all together. I'm not exactly super optimistic here, but I kind of want to go on record saying that crazier things have happened, like as a 1-year wonder. And he's also like the world's happiest dude and a great guy in the clubhouse and everything. So, you know, selfishly, you would like to see someone like that be able to become a contributor, especially if you're the team, hoping that he can establish himself. He got bailed out, though. Bubba got bailed out by Yohan Ramirez. I don't know how many times I want to give him the bases loaded and 1 out in a game that is still within reach. Chandler's going to have to grow. He's going to have to get better. I think that's going to have to be with the whole arsenal. Because the fastball, there are nights that he can just lean on it, and that's all he needs. That first inning was nothing but fastball, and look what he did in it. So he can do it for short spurts, but 5, 6, 7 innings, that's not a short spurt. He's going to need all the stuff. And the other stuff is nasty, like the slider breaks wild. I've been raving about the changeup, both here and in written form. Like the curveball, I think it's his fourth pitch, but it's not a bad pitch. It's something that he can sprinkle in there. He, like I said, went to it whenever he was in a tough spot. He executed it. It looked like a get-right pitch. Great. You have to use the whole arsenal because 3/4 fastballs is not going to cut it. I know it's one start. I know it's a small sample size. He is also the least certain out of the 4 guys that you look at this rotation for, in my opinion. Like, his ceiling is immense. I think he is going to be a great pitcher, but I think you know what you're going to get with Mitch Keller. You know what you're going to get with Braxton Ashcraft assuming that he stays healthy. Bubba, there is a little bit of that roulette still. Of between start to start, between inning to inning. That's what young pitchers often need. It's continued development. Whenever he doesn't have that fastball, though, he needs to be able to feel confident that he can just throw sliders, that he can just throw changeups. We saw it with Jared Jones in 2024, where maybe he didn't have the fastball. Okay, he's got a junk ball today. I look forward to the day we see a Bubba Chandler junk ball game because I think that's going to be really fun to watch. And hitters are not going to have fun with it. Until then, one start, Pirates got a win in it. A lot to take from it. I'm looking forward to the next time he goes out to see if we are going to see more sliders and changeups. Thank you so much for listening to Offbeat here on North Shore 9 presented by FanDuel. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe wherever you find fine podcasts or on YouTube if you'd rather see this in video form. Thank you so much for listening. We'll talk again tomorrow.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.